Well, howdy there, y'all. YAMAHSAKI here, and welcome back to the channel. And today is part 2 of the 1982 Toyota 4x4 SR5 Trekker pickup restoration. So let's rock and roll. Alrighty, y'all, so here's what I've been caught up in on this thing. I got the wheel put back on the other side and the clip back on and all that. So I figured the next step would be to try to address some of this rust issue that this thing's got, because this thing doesn't have near as bad as some of I've seen, but it's certainly not pretty. So what I've been doing is I was cleaning it out with the wire wheel and everything, you know the usual procedure, but then I would take a Dremel tool and I cut out a lot, like all this thin shit here, that I could find. I still got to do it on some spots and things of that nature. I tried to just cut out where it's probably going to start rusting again, and that's usually where the middle is very pitted, very thin and jagged. That's just where the rust has been eating away at it. So I kind of, did surgery and cut out the cancer the best I could, and then I took some paper towels with some Evaporust and I put them all along the bad spots where it's been rusting to see if it can kind of convert some of that crap out of there. I did it for up there, I did it for there, I did it for here, and I'm about to do it on the same side over there. After I did all that, I cleaned it off and took some rusty metal primer where the rust was real bad in certain spots, and then for all the good metal, even though this is all going to get cut out and replaced, figured I'd preserve it the best I could for now with some spray-on truck bed liner. And see, on the passenger side, it's just the same thing. I haven't gotten around to Evaporusting it yet, or painting or linering it, but I really am trying to get every minuscule amount of rust that I can, because all this stuff I can still chisel out a lot of that, but I've cut off all the jagged edges, and I actually been using the disc and just laying it flat on here and kind of using it as a sander in certain areas. I mean, I'm getting even underneath this plate here. Rust is like a mouse. It's going to be hidden in any tiny little spot, and it's your job to dig around and finally find it. Rust is the same thing, You can see all the shiny spots is where it's starting to rust, and that's where I need to stop it. This doesn't really matter. This whole piece right here can all get cut out and replaced, welded up, a new pan, but stuff back here is going to have to be custom fabricated. Like that can probably be all done, fixed up. It's really just like the one hole over here. It's either one of these two that goes to the bench seat, to either the bench seat or the bucket seat. Same on the other side over there. It's always near the body mounts. So yeah, now I need to get some Evaporust on this, and same procedure over there. Try and get the rest of this sound dampening, or I don't know if it was even liner to protect it from rust at the time. Who knows? There's a whole bunch still up there, and it's going to keep rusting if I don't get it off, because I guarantee you it's creeping up underneath. It is. You can see it's creeping up all underneath, so I got to get underneath there. We got to get that shit out of there. Something else I was able to accomplish is I finally got all the bad shag carpet out of here. It wasn't original. Originally it would have had carpet back here, but judging by a couple of pieces near the body mounts over here, it was not original. It got upgraded at some point. I don't believe these are original either. These plywood pieces, I have no idea what they're for. Extra support or something. You can kind of see how it's bowing back here. And it just got done raining, and there's no seal here. So there's a whole bunch of water in here. Luckily, fiberglass doesn't rust, which is a great thing. Great thing indeed. It's actually a pretty simple layout back here, I've seen people take these, at least these top sections off of this thing, and just roll it open, you know, like the old Broncos or Scouts or whatever. It doesn't seem that complicated to me. You gotta, of course, take this tunnel bracketry off. You know, it's just held on by screws and everything. And then on the sides here, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 5 little bolts, and I think they're carriage bolts. And then there's this piece of fiberglass here that kind of clamps down on the topper and sandwiches it to the actual lower part of the body here. I don't know if I can show you guys up there or not, but yeah, you can kind of see where those are up there. They're rusty, pretty darn rusty. As for the actual mounts, there's one there. What's left of one. What's left of one. And there's another one right there. Another one over there. One there. And then one there. To hold this whole fiberglass piece on. And I don't know how I'm actually going to repair this thing. You know, I'm obviously going to repair all the cracks and everything where it has cracked and needs repair, of course. But as for lining this, I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. I'm definitely going to sand it a little bit. Whatever they use, this adhesive or whatever, all the yellow spots is some sort of adhesive that they use to put the carpet on and everything. And I don't think it's going to come all off, which, yeah, it's not going to really matter if I'm covering it again. But just a nice surface with a little bit of sand in, clean it up. And I think I'm going to probably truck bed liner this, because I did with my truck. I undercoated the bed and the body, and then I Herculined, used truck bed liner inside. And I think that's what I'm going to do on this. Once those floors are done and this is all patched up and everything, you know, because it's separating here and all that. Yeah, probably going to truck bed liner it, and it won't rust because it's fiberglass. And so I think I'm also going to build some sort of a big support platform out of plywood, kind of like here, but it's going to span this entire thing. It's going to rest on those lips right there. I'm not going to put a rear seat on this thing. I doubt I'd ever be able to find an original, and I don't really want to, you know, custom make something. I'd like to turn this into a camper, you know, have a nice platform where I can put a bed, have a couple boxes worth of trinkets and everything if I ever want to go camping or something. That's what this thing was designed for, you know. It was designed to carry people, but I think the rear seat was also designed to fold down, and considering it was built by Winnebago, you know, the RV camper company, they probably had the idea in mind that someone was probably going to sleep in the back of this thing at some point. So they made it as spacious as they could for what it is, for you to sleep back there. So, yeah, definitely have some work cut out for me. Didn't really notice the little crevice up there. A lot of old silicone, you know, there's a big gaping hole right there, but the outer silicone is still keeping water out and everything, so. Yeah, but I'm happy I got that out. It looks a lot cleaner now, even though, you know, blotchy with adhesive and everything. I don't know how I'm going to get these out, and I really don't. See, this latch is worth $1 million. It just is, because you can't find them. The only problem is mine no longer exists in this world. Those screws are the only things holding that in there. You can kind of see the screws in there. But the screw heads themselves no longer exist. So I'm probably going to have to cut this out. And I can save this top piece, luckily. Maybe fabricate a whole new one. It wouldn't take that much time. It's just a metal square probably made out of, I'm going to assume that's 16 gauge steel right there. And this is all wet, which is nice. So yeah, that's for the interior. I mean, I did all the rust cancer removal that I could up there, and I put the seat back in, and all the wheels are nice and shiny now. Got the old carpet out. What else can I show you guys? You're gonna love this part, y'all. You are gonna love this next part. I'm telling you what. One of the discoveries I was able to make on the old Trekker here is this is your front shock. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 all around. and it mounts down there. But I don't know if you can see this. It's halfway mounted. The other half is kind of freestyling down there. And as you can see, the mount is fine. The mount on the axle here is fine. But when you get to the actual shock here, what the hell is going on with that? Seriously, what is that? That's not a bolt. That's not even a shock mount anymore. That thing is so stretched, so beaten up. I don't know what you call that. Look at that. And put it all the way down in there. Oh, hang on. We got to push it back up. Well, okay. We're going to leave it. But yeah, that needs to be addressed because it's pretty bouncy when I'm driving down the road in this thing. So I got some new shocks coming. But the other side, well, the other side. Oh, that's going to be the fun one. Now that other side is completely disconnected down there, but here it still is connected. But I don't know if you can see that. That mount right there up top is completely stretched. I have no idea how in the world that happens, other than probably this bolt was loose if someone took this shock off, and that was enough to, when this thing was bouncing up and down, completely deform that shock mount. So that's lovely. We're going to leave that. That's original. You know, allows for more travel on your suspension, which is good. You actually want that. As for the outside, quite a bit has changed. I was able to get most of the body panels put back on, both the fenders, the lower valance, albeit that's 75% on. I got the grille all put back on. It's got new clips. Got the headlight shrouds and headlights in. I got new lenses, although I still gotta get lights for them. New reflectors on each side. So that's good. It's looking really good. Hopefully going to be getting the blinker lights in today so I can start figuring out what I got to do to the bumper to get it, you know, put on and everything. I know I still got to do a little bit of work on that bracket because, well, just from standing right here you can obviously see it's pretty bent out of shape, so no wonder it's not lining up. And then I've got some more stuff to show you under the hood here. So give me just a second to pop the hood up. So virtually nothing has changed in here since you guys last saw it in part 1. Aside from the fact that I put the coil ignition wire, spark plug wire on, just to make everything match. I have a makeshift reservoir out of the old juice bottle. Just in there to catch all the stuff, because when I took it for a ride I actually forgot I took that out, and now there's evidence everywhere where stuff splattered. Another couple major things that I did is I actually bought an aluminum radiator. Now I actually bought that radiator right there for my truck because the one that I repaired, if you guys have ever seen the restoration series on the pickup, I had to do a repair on it because it was leaking. And well, over the winter it leaked all the way out, and I think some of the leakage is coming from the fins, unfortunately, which that is part of your core of your radiator, so you cannot really repair that. And been having troubles with my 4Runner overheating, and it's got an aluminum radiator, so I figured what better test bench than to put it in this already 43-year-old 22R engine and see how it performs. I got new hoses for it, also got a new thermostat in there, new gasket. Had to replace the fuel pump because the one that I did replace, it already went bad. It's sitting right there. I just replaced it, and it fired right back up because it was not wanting to fire up. Oh, and before I forget, I also got a new latch system because the latch on mine was really bent up and, you know, pretty screwed. So there are people out there making parts for these old trucks. It's just you're not going to be able to find everything, you know. So yeah, that's pretty much all that's in here that I can think of. What else? What else can I show you guys? In other news, there is the skid plate. I got it all painted and it's ready to go on. I just don't want to put it on because it's still, greasy underneath there, and there wouldn't be any point putting a brand new part on there when it's not clean. Over here is the original radiator. It's in good shape. I pressure washed it and washed it out with just water, and it's actually a pretty clean unit. Not many broken fins or bent fins or anything like that. You can see really good through all of them. When I blew it out with the pressure washer, a lot of garbage came out of it. So yeah, I think that'll line up good with my truck. I'd rather keep it original and see how this radiator does in this thing. I still need to replace the temp sensor, but I'm having problems getting that thing out. It's just tucked away right over under here. You can see right... Where is it? Where is that thing? Right there. It's right there. And I tried getting it off and it was wanting to strip, so it is socked in there pretty darn good. The fender plastic's back in with all the original hardware. We're all painted red. It's all nice and ready to go underneath here. And before I get into the interior, because I have done a few things in there, not much, but just a few, is, well, my exhaust pipe is now half of an exhaust pipe. I ended up cutting it off right there, because right where that cylindrical piece was, see, I think this is your catalytic converter there. Then it had that, muffler piece on the back right there, right where, everything's missing. It was just flopping around, so I cut it off, and now it's half of a exhaust pipe. So, sounds pretty good. I will fire it up in this video for you guys, because I did not do that in part 1. And it's running nice and strong again after I replaced that fuel pump. Like I said, nothing much has changed in here. Still need to get a windshield. That's the next step. New hood, new windshield. Definitely need to do that. And then floor pans are next. But speaking of floor pans, I did buy some 1/8 inch thick, just neoprene rubber mats, just to put them in there. They are going to stay in here, but once I get the new floor pans in, these will go over, then the batting, then the carpet kit, and it'll be nice and cushiony and no problems from the floors anymore. I did a little bit of cleaning on the gauges, just a wee bit, and on the windows. I did have to repair the ashtray here. Get it out. Come on. There we go. It wasn't even connected in there. It was just flopping. So I put 2 screws in there. That one doesn't have the hardware to have a screw in there. I don't know what happened to it, but I clear coated that piece. And then I just cleaned this in some soap and water because it was pretty nasty. Still has the original flipper flapper thing right there. Mine does not have that. I didn't realize that they had one of those, but it goes right in there. Well, y'all, I do believe that is going to be it for this video on part 2 of the Toyota Trekker restoration. So if you guys enjoyed it, Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for more content. And YAMAHSAKI out. We'll see y'all later.